Blood report persistent of Ebola virus of ocular fluid during convalescence. Definition: Ebola virus disease event formerly called Ebola hemorrhage. Fever is a serious disease of the fatal in human. The virus is transmitted to human by wild animal and is spread in human population by transmission from person to person.
What makes Ebola so dangerous? How can a virus overwhelm the very complex defense system of the body so quickly and so effectively? Let's take a look at what Ebola does. Ebola is a virus. A virus is a very small thing. A bit of RNA or DNA and a few proteins in a hull. It has no ability to do anything by itself whatsoever and can only survive and proliferate by infecting cells. To avoid this, we have the immune system. The immune system is super complex, so we developed a visual system that makes it easy to understand. So it looks like this. Let's concentrate on the part that's critical to understanding Ebola and ignore the rest. So, usually, dendritic cells would activate an army of antivirus cells, support cells and antibody factories that would, together with the guard cells, wipe out the infection in a matter of days. But when Ebola strikes, it directly attacks the immune system. Some of the first cells it takes over are the dendritic cells, the brains of the immune system. The Ebola virus enters a dendritic cell by binding onto receptors for cell transport. Once it's inside, it dissolves its outer hull and releases its genetic material, nuclear proteins, and enzymes. In a nutshell, it takes over the cell, disables the cell's protective mechanisms, and reprograms it. The cell now becomes a virus production machine and uses its resources to build Ebola viruses. Once the cell is saturated, it dissolves the cell membrane and millions of viruses are released into the tissue. The virus not only prevents the dendritic cell from activating the specialized antivirus forces, it manipulates it into sending signal proteins that trick the specialized cells into ending their own lives prematurely. So the immune system is seriously disrupted and unable to react, while the virus rapidly multiplies. We're talking billions. There are cells that should deal with infected cells, the natural killer cells. But they also get infected and just die before they can prevent the disease from spreading. At the same time, Ebola infects the guard cells of the body, macrophages and monocytes. Not only managing to circumvent their defenses, it also manipulates them to signal to the cells that make up the blood vessels, telling them to release fluids into the body. Usually this makes sense, but in this case, it just causes mayhem. All over the body, neutrophils are activated, awoken by the virus and the macrophages' signals. They're not very effective against viruses and should not be involved in this fight and begin to do lots of stuff they shouldn't do. The neutrophils signal the blood vessels to release more fluid, causing internal bleeding.
Application user. The Ebola virus does not yet have an effective vaccine that makes the disease disappear completely. Given this awareness, the Ebola virus does not yet have an effective vaccine that makes the disease disappear completely. Given this awareness, that take correct protection measures are an important way to reduce risk. They might factory start or reduce risk of transmission, though with animal very appropriation. clothing and about the consumption of gloves and rat made of animal-ready infection.
The Ebola strain appeared in 1989 in a group of 100 monkeys imported from the Philippines to Reston Town in USA. This epidemic was fatal in animals but caused no deaths among humans. Ebola Sudan originated among workers in a cotton mill in Zara, Sudan. The original transmitter is still unknown. The epidemic was fatal in nearly 50% of those infected. This subtype of Ebola was discovered among chimpanzees living in Thai forest in Ivory Coast, and while it infected humans, they all recovered after medical treatment. This strain has killed at least 35 people and infected 127 others in Uganda in 2007. Deaths were recorded in the region of Bundibugyo on the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Ebola Zaire strain has a mortality rate of 90%. The first outbreak occurred in 1976 in northern Zaire. The first recorded case died just 14 days after the first symptoms manifested. In 2014, the largest outbreak in the history of this strain emerged, initially affecting Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Nigeria. The World Health Organization declared the situation as an international public health emergency, asking the countries where people affected with the illness were detected to declare national emergency.